What's up, Bills Mafia? I got 5 takeaways from the Bills' 30-20 win over the Colts this Sunday. But before we get to that, let's get to that intro.
That means that we punched our ticket to go try to win the Super Bowl, and that's it. We got one game at a time, starting at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Love y'all, boys. Love you. Love you. I'll go to war with every single one of you, every game, all right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Win.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have me douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 It's showtime.
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I am Tommy. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell because I always forget to tell you. What is up, Bills Mafia? I got 5 takeaways from the Bills' 30-20 win over the Colts this past Sunday. Let's go ahead and dive right into that. Once again, shout out to Bills Wire for creating this article. All right, here we go. 5 takeaways. Joe will have nightmares about Tehran. Yes, he will. Colts quarterback Joe Flacco had a nightmare outing against the Bills' defense, specifically cornerback Tehran Johnson. He's going to actually have nightmares about Johnson in the coming days. Johnson led Buffalo's defense from the very first snap on the exact play. He took a pick-6 interception into the end zone and gave his team the immediate lead. On top of that, Johnson became the first Bills defensive back to ever have a pick-6 and sack in the same game. Johnson was all over the field. He finished with 3 total tackles as well, including 1 for a loss. Man, Tehran is that dude. Yeah, man, Tehran Johnson, man. What a... I got to say, I always talk about the players that are underperforming as far as their contract goes. And I got to say, that's one player that's not. Tehran Johnson, since he got his extension a few years back, has lived up to that extension and then some. That dude is a hell of a player. He's very rarely he's hurt, and if he is hurt, it's not for a long time. He is probably the best corner nickel slot in the NFL. Right? He is the best. He is the best in my opinion. And I'm sure there's others out there that may think differently, but to me, he's the best nickel corner in the NFL. But yeah, man, what a performance by him. He started off that game with the pick-6 and just got things going, right? And that's what you want because the offense of the Buffalo Bills, that was a whole different story, my friends. The offense got out to a horrific start. They just could not get things going at all in this game. And they got things going, I guess, at the tail end of it, the second half, which they've been doing lately. But that's never how you want to start a game out. And luckily for the Bills offense, the defense picked them up in this game when it mattered the most. So shout out to the defense for doing their job early on and really throughout the whole course of the game. All right, let's get to the next one. All right, downright dominant. The Bills defense did not stop at Johnson. Buffalo held the Indianapolis Colts to just 13 points for most of the day. Big plays were a huge reason why. The ensuing drive after Johnson's pick-6 saw a big man takeaway as Bills defensive tackle Austin Johnson intercepted Flacco. Another defensive back in Damar Hamlin got on the stat sheet with a fumble recovery. That one was in the red zone off a Gregory Rousseau sack. A third sack also came from the recently signed Quentin Jefferson. The defensive tackle just returned to Buffalo last week. Not to mention, the trio of interceptions was completed by safety Taylor Rapp. A bad day to be the Colts offense. Yeah, man, they didn't have a lot going. I mean, the running game got going in the first half, and it really did, man. Taylor, 107 yards in the first half. But you know what he finished with? 114. Second half was not too good when it comes to the running game of the Colts. And the Bills, you got to credit the Bills for adjusting at halftime and shutting that shit down, because Taylor was running wild in the first half on the Buffalo Bills. I think he was averaging like 6.7 yards a carry, something crazy like that in the first half. But the Bills defense eventually woke up, at least in that part of the of things, where when it comes to run defense, it was poor in the first half, excellent in the second half. So shout out to the defense for stepping up against that, against a really, really good running back and Taylor. So let's get to the next one. All right, here we go. Josh is giving it away again. For all the good quarterback Josh Allen did against the Colts, the Bills quarterback had a clear issue that is coming back currently: interceptions. After going weeks without any to start the year, he has at least one in the past 3 outings. Allen tossed 2 in Indianapolis. Not the greatest. I gotta say, the first 2 interceptions this year were not his fault. Like, I know a lot of fans could say, hey, it's not, it's not my quarterback's fault. They threw an interception. It really wasn't. If you go back and look at the film, if you're not just looking at stats and going, oh, Allen had 2 interceptions, you got to look at why those interceptions were made. The first interception he threw was Amari Cooper slipping on his route that led to an interception. That's not really Josh's fault, right? Your receiver falls down where he's supposed to be. Yeah, not good. It probably will lead to an interception. The other was Keon Coleman dropping a pass that would have been a touchdown, and Ramsey made a hell of a play on the ball, but that was not Josh Allen's fault. If it hits you in the hands, and it wasn't even a high pass. It was a perfectly thrown football that Keon Coleman just could not hold on to. That's not Josh's fault. Now, this game, the first interception, that was just a bad throw. Bad throw by Josh Allen. The second one, you got to give credit to the defense sometimes, folks. That's what they're paid to do, right? They're paid as well, right, to do their job. That defender did a hell of a job. That was a great interception. There's really, honestly, I don't even know if I can fault Josh Allen. That was a good throw, but a better defensive play. So sometimes you got to tip the cap to the defense when they do their job. Just like we tip our cap to our defense when they do their job, right? Not every interception is easy, where it's just a poorly thrown ball like the first interception by Josh Allen. Some are hard to get, and that defender made a hell of a play. So you got to tip your cap to him. All right, next up. No receivers? No problem. Though I think it is. Both of Buffalo's top wide receivers did not play against the Colts. Both Keon Coleman and Amari Cooper were out due to wrist injuries. Good old wrist injuries. Even so, Allen's passing stats, aside from the interceptions, were solid. There were 7 different players to catch passes from the Bills quarterback. Receiver Mac Hollins led Buffalo in yardage with 86 yards on 4 catches, including a 44-yard grab, which set up points right before halftime. And no surprise, Khalil Shakir was leading the team in terms of catches with 58 yards. In the postseason, you'll want Coleman and Cooper around, but this was a positive sign. Allen finished 22 for 37 passing with 280 yards. He only rushed in 1 score. So listen, here's the deal, guys, and this is the reality of things, and I know Bills Mafia doesn't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it, but this is not sustainable for the future. Like, these kind of games against bad teams, sure, we can win them, but we can't win these types of games against the better teams. the Chiefs, the 49ers, the Lions, the Rams. By the way, I mentioned those four because those are the 4 games that are coming up on our schedule. Not easy. You can't start out the gate slow on offense. You can't turn the ball over on offense. And you got to have better options for Josh Allen to throw to. And I get it. It's not his fault, right? Keon Coleman's injured. Amari Cooper's injured. But once again, I go back to the trade deadline. I go back to even the offseason and free agents that we brung in. It has not been good. Like, Bean should have saw this offense for what it was. Now, yes, mind you, he did bring in Amari Cooper. I give him credit. But I'm sure there was another trade option. He could have went out and got another receiver or even drafted another receiver after he drafted Keon Coleman. I'm just throwing that out there. I didn't like the way this offseason shaked out as far as getting help for Josh Allen. It just was not good. And you got to do a better job if you're Brandon Beane in helping Josh Allen out, because injuries happen. Things do happen in the course of an NFL season. That's why you have depth. Mac Hollins, and I said it pregame, watch, he's going to be probably the number 1 or number 2 target going into that game. And he was. And he actually led the team in receiving yards. That's not good. That's not good, folks. We need to figure this out. And the only thing I can tell you is this. We're 8-2. It's a great start. But we really we got to pray and hope that Amari Cooper and Keon Coleman get back in time for a playoff push and we go into the playoffs on a good note. Because if they stay out a little bit more on these, I have no idea how much longer they're going to be out for. But we could be starting to pick up some L's, and we don't want to get on a losing streak. So, how can that be fixed without those 2 being out? Joe Brady. Yeah, Joe Brady. There's still enough talent on his team, and he's still got one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL on this team. And yeah, it kind of showed you against the Colts that he still can make it work with average receivers, right? Because really, that's what we are. But I still feel like Joe Brady has to do a better job knowing that, okay, I have this guy out. And by the way, Dalton Kincaid, we'll know more today or tomorrow, but he had a knee injury against the Colts. Another weapon gone. Now, once again, I don't know how long. Let's just pray and hope it's not long term. It probably is going to be a week-to-week thing if I had to guess. But once again, I go back to Joe Brady. Joe Brady needs to make life a little bit more simpler for Josh Allen. Also, the offensive line has to hold up a little bit better than what they did against the Colts on pass protection to give Allen and these receivers time to get open. Or give Allen, right, buy Allen time for those receivers to finally create some sort of separation. I did like the fact that Curtis Samuel got going early in the game, but as you saw how the game went on, Curtis Samuel was a no-show towards the second half of that game, right? Started off great and then faded away. We need more Curtis Samuel. Now, is he still hurt? I think he is. They did come out and say he's been playing with an injury, the turf toe, which I've been telling you guys that's probably the reason why he's been limited on offense. I think they made a huge mistake in playing him early on in the season. If they knew he had a turf toe injury, why not put him on IR for 4 weeks, have him heal up? And now we have a player who's just going out there, re-aggravating it. Probably is not helping that he's playing on it week after week after week. When we could have, I know we could have, sat him and called up Hamler, called up Virgil, fine, whatever. That's what you did anyways. But they made a huge mistake, I feel, in playing a guy that's clearly hurt. And by the way, it wasn't even like he was effective out there. He wasn't doing anything. So he was a waste of a roster spot on the 53 when you could have put him on the IR, healed him up, got him back to 100, and then threw him back out there. And we would have saw a different Curtis Samuel this year. And maybe we still can. Maybe they will, when Cooper and Coleman come back, rest Curtis Samuel a little bit. We'll find out. But guys, I am a little concerned about this offense, about the weapons around Josh Allen. And I get it. Once again, I get where you're going. Tommy, you're being a Debbie Downer. We're 8-2. What are you complaining about? Because it's about the future of this team going forward, about the playoff run. We're going to make the playoffs, right? We know this. The AFC East is hot garbage, except for us, right? Did you know right now if the Dolphins lose tonight that the rest of the AFC East have a combined winning record of 8 wins? The Buffalo Bills are at 8 wins. That's crazy. The Buffalo Bills could clinch the AFC East really early this season and already have a playoff berth just like that. And I believe they will. But once we hit the playoffs, guys, we're going against the real deal. Real teams, winning teams, good teams. Can't have these kind of things going on. Slow starts, right? Can't do it. So we gotta figure something out. And that honestly, on the offensive side of things, that to me, I point the finger at Joe Brady, who needs to do a better job and figure things out while these Bills, the rest of the Bills, are trying to recover from their injuries on offense. Keon Coleman, Amari Cooper, Dalton Kincaid. All right, let's get to the next one. Another AFC win. Yes. And by the way, I'll talk to you guys right after this as well about something else. It might have seemed like an easy win in the end, but the Bills just grabbed another huge AFC victory. As the postseason slowly is approaching, it's never bad grabbing another one of those, especially against a team like Indy. Had they won, the Colts would still be in the playoff picture and would have a head-to-head win over Buffalo. Instead, the Bills winning the AFC East is all inevitable. Inevitable. Oh, man, my words. And a top spot in the entire conference could be too. And that is correct. We do play the Chiefs. By the way, the Chiefs are still undefeated at 9-0. But the Bills are right there at 8-2. We play the Chiefs this weekend, and we can knock them down to 9-1 and gain. And we're right there. We're right there for that top AFC spot. What I was going to tell you was last night the Lions helped us out. They beat the Houston Texans last night, which helped out the Bills. So right now, currently, if you want to see the standings, let me go ahead and pop that up for you guys here. Let's go ahead and present that on the screen so you guys can see where we are at currently in the standings. All right, so currently as we sit right now. So here is the AFC East standings as we sit today. All right, the Buffalo Bills at 8-2, like I said, and all y'all know this. The New Jersey Jets are 3-7. The Patriots are 3-7. And the Miami Dolphins are 2-6. And I believe they're going to lose tonight. I just do, on the road against a Rams team that is getting healthier. I believe they lose that game and fall to 2-7. Listen, the AFC East is pretty much ours unless we just shit the bed, and I don't see that happening. So let's look at the conference, and here we go, folks. The number one team in the AFC is the Kansas City Chiefs at 9-0. Like I said, the Buffalo Bills sit at second at 8-2. And then right behind the Bills are the Steelers at 7-2, the Ravens at 7-3, Chargers at 6-3, and there goes the Texans at 6-4. So Lions helped us out with that as well because they do have the tiebreaker over us. So that is good. And on the very bottom, believe it or not, the Jets still have I don't know how, they still have a chance to get in the playoffs. I don't think they will, but mathematically they still do. And on the very, very bottom, towards the bottom, are the Miami Dolphins with their 2 wins. So even the Patriots still have a shot. It's wild, but this is what I love to see right here, right? We beat the Chiefs. We're 1 game behind them. And I do believe we can beat the Chiefs. We're at home. There's no reason why we shouldn't beat the Chiefs. Now, well, let me backtrack. There is a reason why we could lose to the Kansas City Chiefs if Joe Brady doesn't have a good game plan. Okay, and also we don't know if Cooper's going to play or not. He's still considered questionable. He was questionable for this game. It's very possible Cooper does play, and if he does play, it makes it a lot easier on this offense. Clearly, you saw just having him on the field the first 2 games that he was here. What a difference it made. Even when he didn't get anything in the second game, pretty much, right? Got nothing in the second game. Keon Coleman went off because it helps free up other players on offense. So him just being out there, the defense understands that now you got a true weapon out there, a true number one. Listen, I'm not bashing Khalil Shakir. I think Shakir in time possibly could be a 1. I'm going to tell you like this, what I feel like Khalil Shakir could. Khalil Shakir, to me, could possibly be one of the best slot receivers in the future. Khalil Shakir could possibly be a 1,000-yard number 2 receiver on this team, which we haven't had since Peerless Price in 2002, when Eric Moulds went over 1,000 and Peerless Price did. Now, we came close with Cole Beasley, who was, I believe, 25 yards short of it, or 50 yards short of reaching 1,000 yards. So we came close, but once again, coming close doesn't mean 1,000 yards, right? So I think Khalil Shakir can be that dude as far as the number 2, and one of the better slots in the NFL. I think his name is starting to become a household name. It may not be yet like, hey, I know about that Khalil Shakir, but I believe it's starting. People are starting to remember that name and hear that name and go, yeah, I like that dude. You know what I mean? I'll tell you how little he's really known. When we played the Colts on Sunday, the commentator was talking about Khalil Shakir and said he's not the fastest guy. And I'm like, then you don't know Khalil Shakir. He ran a 4.3 in his 40 time at the combine. What are you talking about? The guy is very fast. I think he's sneaky fast, right? But that dude has wheels. So I don't know what the commentator was thinking, about that. Clearly, he doesn't know Khalil Shakir that well, and didn't know his 40 time was very impressive at the combine. So, but anyways, yeah, man. So if we're without Cooper this weekend, Joe Brady's going to really have to. And if we're without Dalton Kincaid, he's going to really have to have a game plan. I would say his best game plan of the season against the Chiefs. His best. Go into your playbook and you pick out the best plays against the Kansas City Chiefs, because that's a hell of a defense. And if we're missing a ton of weapons, you better have a game plan going into that game that is your best. So that's all I got to say about that. Listen, man, Bills won 30-20. It didn't feel like we put up 30. I got to be honest with you. The offense really only put up 23. The defense obviously scored a touchdown there. So we could have put up a lot more points, in my opinion. But we just got off to a sloppy, slow start, and the second half was better. And we've done that way too many times this season. And we gotten by, right, with some wins against some bad teams playing like that. But once again, folks, against better teams, you cannot start out the gate slow. You can't have turnovers like that, right? And the defense isn't always going to have our back like that, right? I wish it did. I wish it always did. But that's not how it works, right? So let's hope Joe Brady could dial it up against the Chiefs. Obviously, we'll get more into that pre-game talk on Friday night when me and Mikey go live on Friday Night Lights. Tonight, we will be live on Monday Nightcap, Bills Monday Nightcap. at 9 p.m. You don't want to miss that. Aramis is going to be our guest again. So you don't want to miss that. Hit the notification bell. It's the best way to know when we're going live. Real easy, folks. So Bills Mafia, I love you. And as always, go Bills. I'm out of here. Peace.